apologia pro sua vita. Aquinas would be proud, and Augustine, and every whip-wielding masochist perpetuating self-hate over self-worth. We are taught so well how to obey, rarely to lead, to read this moment as a mirror of the best that we can choose to be. Humility is praiseworthy. Pride is called ego, arrogance. We demur to other people's brilliance, while forgetting that we are more than mere audience. We apologize even when we brush another's aura. Closeness, intimacy, proximity was once humanity, now distance, judgment, demanding apologies. I am allergic to you when you cannot see me, and I offer no apologies for this poetry. You see, in my country there was an apology movement to apologize to the indigenous for stealing their land, raping them, and basically destroying all aspects of their culture. To do that, you had a little hand, an Aboriginal hand, which was what they put on the caves, and you put it in your front lawn to sign that you were part of the apology movement for the indigenous. It seemed to go so well because they also wanted a treaty with the indigenous called a Makarata. Now New Zealand had the Maoris who fought very hard for their land and their culture. So they had to form a treaty, the Treaty of Waitangi. And the white people actually acknowledged their sovereignty and their culture, and that continues to this day. Now haka is a war dance, and that also is a personality self-defense. But I take this personally because recently, as you were dealing with sensuality and sex, I have had to deal with the death of close friends. And I found that this is largely a death culture, thanatos, not a culture of love or eros. So when it comes to, I decide, okay, Doubting Thomas, get close, see what is the truth of people's leaving their flesh. Why do they do it so easily? So I was at the deathbed of Barbara Carr and John Berry and Herman Nelson. But it was Herman Nelson's leaving that took some time and really broke my heart, because he was preparing to leave. As Albert Hochstickler wrote that book, Working on My Death Chant, he was prepared to leave even before he left. So I asked him the question, what's the most important thing in your life? And he said, my elk singers perfected tarot. And right up to the last day of his leaving his flesh, he was reading his tarot to young people so they might carry on their self-initiation in the arcane crafts. Well, that's fine, but I don't agree. I also don't agree with death, suffering, victimhood, or irrationality. So I've had to deal with a sense of anger that came when my friends so willingly gave away what's left of their entitlement to live, their breath quota for the future. So what I did, I went back to my homeland, and I went back to my mother who was dying, and I sat with her and asked her the same questions. So for her Catholicism was important, and shopping was important, and bingo was important. I do not lie. So I went with her to church, and I went with her to bingo, and I went with her shopping, just to see the spiritual content of her choices. Now she is in a home that will be a hospice, and she will be leaving her flesh at a time that she chooses to go, smoking cigarettes in the rest home. And I decide, well, okay, that's one mother, let's go to the other. So I went to Uluru and walked around Uluru and went walking in the Olgas in this most primal land. And somehow it gave my life back again. That sense of anger and of grief at other people's choices made me realize how we have a choice in every moment ourselves. And other people's choices belong to them. And I will not be part of death or misery or suffering or shaming or any belittlement of myself as a man.
Amen.
Woo. I make no apology for being here, sharing with you.